All right, guys, March 23rd, and I did it again. I started off by saying, all right. I hate myself. It is March 23rd. This is Prime Nation Radio. I'm Sydney Roberts.
I'm Tyler Wood.
I'm Drew Scheid.
I'm Gerard Fortune.
I'm Tanner Method.
And then we got Captain Dan running Wirecast, as always, at least till Tanner takes over that. So let's get started with On This Day, March 23rd. In 1775, Patrick Henry gave his famous Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death speech. Tanner, you seem to be the most up-to-date on history. Do you know much about the context of this?
On this, honestly, no, I don't, I'm afraid. I assume that, like, Patrick Henry was probably...
Patrick Henry was a good man.
Patrick Henry hunted during wabbit season.
About
And he
how
chose...
much I know.
See, he never got death because every single time he was smashed, he just walked away like an accordion.
Yeah. It says... he gave his Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death speech in favor of Virginian troops joining the U.S. Revolutionary War. So it was to fire people up, saying, if we don't have our liberty, what good are we? We might as well be dead. So if not for Patrick Henry, then we might not have ever won the Revolutionary War. So,
I would have to say the speech the president gave at Independence Day before they flew out was way hotter.
Yeah.
I would have to say.
That was Bill Paxton, right?
Yeah, whatever that guy's name is.
Yeah, Bill Paxton,
the president. President
Bill Paxton
Paxton.
was a way better president than John Henry.
Yeah.
Or whatever this guy's name is.
What was his name? It's not Bill Paxton as the president. What was his name? It's going to kill me now.
Hey, like his
Something
actual...
Tanner doesn't know.
Oh.
His actual name in the movie, or...
No, the actor.
The actor.
Bill Pullman.
Okay, I was about to say, if it was Bill Pullman, I'm going to...
Excuse me, I didn't mean to overspeak like that, Tanner. You do know everything.
Oh, man.
I've always...
But, obviously when Bill Paxton passed away a few weeks ago, that was the running joke is it Bill Pullman or Bill Paxton? So I should have known. I was walking right into that one. But, that is a great speech. But, Patrick Henry didn't have a writer's room to write a speech for him.
It's whatever. Look, I don't need help. Sometimes it's for the better.
Yeah. I imagine he probably wrote his on hemp paper with, like, a feather and ink.
Imagine if Hancock helped him write it.
John
Just
Hancock?
all in
Or-
big
or
letters.
Will
Yeah.
Smith
Yeah.
The Will Smith thing.
The Will Smith.
Obviously the Will
Yeah.
Smith one.
Yeah.
I hate John Hancock, man.
Jesus, man.
Why?
Because what a douche. He's just like, I'm going to sign my name bigger than...
See, I expected that a comment like that from Tyler.
Yeah, honestly,
Like,
I was surprised that, hearing that from the outside, I'm like, you can hate someone for that little of a thing?
Yes, you do that all the time.
I'm good at it, though.
Your heart is just full of darkness. Like Tyler's heart
Art
is
of
pretty much
Darkness, a very good movie.
it is the Phantom Zone from the Superman. That's what it is.
That's
Just-
where you get banished to.
yes, that's what you get banished to.
I feel like the Joker, because I didn't start out like this. The world made me this way.
No, you didn't. Don't blame the world for
blame Ace
for your
Chemical.
well-being.
How far is
Oh,
heaven?
God. Tyler's trying to supply us with running jokes, but I can't let those lonely boys be one of them.
I'm entertaining myself. This has nothing to do with anybody else's running jokes.
So Patrick Henry gave the speech. We all know at least that line, but I imagine there was some more cool stuff in it, but that's the one that stood the test
I really
of
hope
time.
this speech was just that.
I just gathered a whole crowd.
And he's just like he's in the green room and he's looking at his piece of paper and it just says, "Give me liberty, give me death." He's like, "Oh, this better work."
Yeah.
Maybe he lost his note cards, except for that one.
He's
Like
got-
a bird tried to swoop and grab it, and then like the last piece of you got a bit of it.
He's got the pre-show jitters, and then he drops his cards. They scatter away in the wind, and that's the only one he puts his foot on. That's the one that goes down in history. He actually had like way more badass lines, like, along Bill Pullman
The
level.
whole thing was improvised.
That's-
All he had was
yeah,
"Give me
yeah.
liberty, give me death," and that's it. He just filibustered.
Yeah, what if it was just like a 3-hour ramble, and that was the one good part of it?
Wow.
But either way, it's a pretty solid sentence. Give me liberty or give me death.
Yeah, maybe he just didn't want to be part of Obamacare.
He's very prolific. Then he can see that far
hot
in the future.
button.
Fuego.
Before we get too far into anything, Sydney, don't forget, we have all sorts of social media right now. We have YouTube, we have Twitter, we have Instagram, and Facebook at Prime Nation Live.
That's it. Across all social media platforms, we are Prime Nation Live. Good call, Tyler. Go ahead and feel free to interact with us as much as you guys want. Anyone who was watching yesterday knows that Brian Granger was providing us with some excellent commentary, so we appreciate
flaming everybody in this room.
Was
and
he?
it was hilarious.
Oh, man, it was
He
great.
said everybody in here looked like they eat hummus.
He said I was a virgin. He said some great things about Tanner. I don't think he said anything bad about Gerard.
He didn't see me until about 20 minutes later.
That's right.
Because the way the camera was angled, it's like I'm directly behind you.
Yeah.
Also, as far as I recall, all he said to me was "Shut up, Tanner."
Oh, really?
That's something great.
Yeah, you shut up.
Yeah, just stop talking. That's it. That's how you know somebody really doesn't like you. They didn't even make a joke.
What's your Twitter handle?
What's my Twitter handle?
Yeah, A_Rod.
EY. Yeah.
EY, yeah.
EY,
Underscore ROD.
Yes.
It's like, hey, ma.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's sup, ma.
Yeah.
Oh, I should be Sup Rod now? I'll change it. Yeah. Don't nobody take that. Yeah.
Sup, Rod.
Sup Rod.
Also, another thing that happened on this day, March 23rd, in 1857, Elijah Otis installs his first elevator at 488 Broadway in New York City. So this was not the first ever elevator, but Elijah Otis patented and created the first elevators that had a safety mechanism that would stop it from falling if the cables failed. So
it was the first elevator anyone actually wanted to use.
Wait, hold on. What? I mean, it's important. You just kind of added on to something already great.
yeah.
That's
Let me look up and see, what elevators were like before then, because I was explaining earlier, but I don't really know.
So
well, I'm assuming they were extremely dangerous. It's probably a very rough stop. Yeah.
Hey, I attached these fruit crates to this rock.
Yes.
Against a hill.
No, I got these
And,
multiple homeless children pulling on
and
this
they
rope.
pulled this
Yes.
rope up.
Yes.
Back then, child labor laws didn't exist.
I
Yes.
guess, yeah.
Yeah.
You just took people from debtor's prison.
I just
and
picked
made
up
them
this-
do whatever you want.
This little street gang of kids.
These urchins
Help them change their
are
lives.
are just gonna carry you up, and we're gonna go on an escalator.
Would you rather be a street or a chimney sweeper, or be one of the
I'll be like
people?
a pickpocket.
Yeah, I was about to say,
I'll be a Fagin.
are they both doers in Charles Dickens novels?
Yes.
Oh, man.
But I don't know if it
A
was.
chimney sweep would be horrible, but
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
would
Would it be?
What were the options?
Oh yeah,
it
of
was
course it would be.
pickpocket or chimney sweep.
Well, they're both viable careers.
And chimney sweep
Even in
is the
today's
only
day and
one
age.
that's lasted through time. I feel like as long as there's
Yeah.
a chimney,
Do they still wear top
there's a
hats?
job. Oh yeah, it's still the big. They still dress the same.
Got you. A bunch of Abraham Lincolns
Yeah,
cleaning out your chimney.
it's just now they have trucks.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
The first elevator is credited to a Roman architect, Vitruvius, in 287 BC, or that's when he was born, in 287 BC. But they think the first elevator was around 236 BC. So yeah, that was definitely, there were no safety mechanisms there. It was probably literally homeless, destitute children,
Oh, yeah.
orphans.
Of
Yeah.
course.
I mean, then honestly, I was joking earlier, saying it's the only elevator people want to use, but I think that's why this invention was so significant. Is it made the elevator able to be popular, right?
Yeah. But also, before then, people didn't really have much use for an elevator because, except for freight, because there weren't skyscrapers or anything like that before
stairs,
1857.
yeah.
So I don't imagine there were buildings taller than, 6 stories before 1857.
Right,
That'd be some.
It was like the 1890s when, I think America, that's when we entered, the Gilded Age
Yeah.
and everything. That's when we started building the skyscrapers.
So you just needed it for freight and stuff like that, which, of course, the more safety you have, the better, but it's not necessarily a necessity. But whenever you start transporting humans, I imagine a couple people died before Otis came up with
Yeah,
this
but they were
contraption.
street urchins.
No, they were actually probably the upper crust who the street urchins decided to let go.
Ah.
There was probably like a class divide between who could ride the elevator and who had to
Of
power
course
the
it was.
elevator. Yeah, it's fun stuff.
So in conclusion, this guy didn't invent the elevator, but he just did the paperwork.
He improved upon it.
Yeah, it's a good
All
one.
All right.
It's like Chick-fil-A. They didn't invent the chicken. They just made it better.
Made
All right.
it better.
Is he also a huge homophobic and racist?
Yeah.
He is a huge homophobic. Yes.
Yes.
He's
just
That
a
is a
giant.
noun and not an adjective.
Yeah.
His elevators were all closed on Sundays.
Yes.
The elevators were also homophobic.
Yep.
Yeah, people showed up to protest. There were lines all outside the elevators.
But then they were just like, "But the chicken's so good." And they stopped.
that is so true, man. Do you remember a couple years ago when it was the huge
Oh, yeah.
ordeal and people were
Yeah.
coming to Chick-fil-A to show their solidarity
Yeah.
against
But
gay
Chick-fil-A
people?
is like the hot girl of fast food because they can do whatever they want and we'll just keep coming back.
When you got
It's
good
good.
product, you can do.
You got the
do whatever
goods.
you want.
You
You
do
do
whatever you
you do
want.
what you want when you're popping.
They're like, "Hey, we support Trump," and we're like, "Ugh." I was like a 12 count.
Whenever I am in impressed because I was wondering where that was going. But you're right. I don't even remember being in a car with like a gay friend of mine, and he's like, I really want Chick-fil-A right now, but I don't want to like contradict my people.
You're good. You're good.
I had to go into like an extensive internet wormhole to figure out that Yingling, the ice cream company, and Yingling, the beer company, while they're owned by people in the same family, are like separated,
unaffiliated
in a corporate sense.
So does Yingling make other ice cream?
What do you mean? Other than the butterbeer one?
Yeah.
Yes, it does. It's actually okay. So I had to figure out the whole history of Yingling the other day. They were the same company up through a little bit past Prohibition. And then they split off. Actually, the only reason that Yingling was still in operation past the Prohibition era was because the ice cream company was keeping it afloat.
I was reading about this.
That's genius.
Yeah,
that's genius.
Tanner still knew. Yeah. Wow.
I read a book called Last Call about Prohibition. All right, I finished it last summer.
So they
he even knows when he finished it.
So they eventually like split off somewhere in the 30s, 40s, somewhere there. And then Yingling's, the ice cream company, quits making ice cream in about the 80s, and then they come back around 2014. And now they have the Harry Potter butterbeer that we talked about in a previous episode. But the guy that owns Yingling Ice Cream now actually put out a statement because Yingling Beer said that they support Donald Trump. And the Yingling Ice Cream guy came out and said, hey, we don't mix politics and our business. We don't support anybody for president. We're going to keep that to ourselves and just enjoy our ice cream. So
that's the way it should be, in my opinion. But do you know if they fractured off because like maybe one side of the family was more puritanical or something like that, didn't want to be involved in alcohol?
I don't think it was any reason in particular. I think it was just like
probably business more than anything.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you can have this, we'll take that.
Yeah. Well, it's smart to go into ice cream whenever Prohibition rolled around. That was a genius move.
I think they were in ice cream before.
Oh, okay.
Well, it was actually that they could use the breweries. They could use the same facilities to make ice cream. That's a lot of breweries and a lot of distillers. That's what they did because they had these facilities. They're not just going to tear them down, so they made other products.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
2 actuallys and 1 fact. Nice.
Oh man, I had something I was going to say about Chick-fil-A, but it's way past that now. So let's get on into pop culture. Oh god. Going on into pop culture. So in Beijing, apparently at this one specific park, and maybe this will catch on, maybe everywhere will start to do it. Apparently in this one park in Beijing, they've been having a big issue with people stealing toilet paper. So they've installed a facial recognition camera.
Good.
To disperse 2 feet of toilet paper at a time. You have to scan your face for 3 seconds. You get 2 feet of toilet paper. And then the same face can't get another piece of toilet paper for 9 minutes.
My face would get 4.
That's awful.
It's just like, oh,
you
God,
need to clean up.
What are they stealing it for? That's the real question. Like, why are you stealing so much toilet paper? Why are you going to like? I'm not walking around with.
I've stolen from UNCW. I've stolen their toilet paper.
Like a whole roll of toilet paper.
Oh yeah.
Why?
I've stolen trash
softer.
You can't. You don't have to buy it.
You don't have to buy it.
I was just lazy.
They took so much money.
You got
from
like
my parents.
you got Chick-fil-A in the car.
Do y'all live by yourself? You got roommates?
No.
Yeah.
Roommates.
How
much do you pay for toilet paper?
A lot. Do you know
how much toilet paper do you use?
That's an expense that you could cut out of your life completely.
By stealing it from
you keep
from
it
school.
in the,
By stealing it from a corporation, okay?
Yeah, that doesn't count.
Y'all are ridiculous.
Yeah.
You're getting angry over toilet paper.
Yeah.
I'm not getting angry. I'm just this is just ridiculous. Stealing toilet paper.
So you've never just taken a roll of toilet paper?
No.
Never taken a candy from a Take One jar.
Yes, I have, but we're talking about toilet paper, not candy.
Have you ever taken like a lot of napkins?
Taking a necessity versus taking something you don't need, like candy.
What?
How far is heaven?
Jesus, man.
I mean,
napkins all day long. That is something that
Keep
black people do. Watch Deion Cole's special.
You got 'em for
is
the car.
truth. Black people love napkins and plastic bags.
So what if you just repurpose those and instead of using them after you eat,
I can't.
you use them in the bathroom?
No.
Yeah.
That's only on emergencies when payday's in 3 or 4 days. And we just ran out of TP, and I just used up all the paper towels.
Which brings me to my segment. What's the worst thing you've ever wiped with?
Ooh, man.
My underwear.
Ugh.
That's not the worst thing, though. That's like cloth.
For him, he said.
For him.
Man, for
I'm going
him.
to focus on social media for a little bit.
Well, okay, so going back to the actual story, How good are these facial scanners? Can you just put on a fake mustache or glasses?
First of all, it would have to be because it's China.
I was debating whether or not I should go there. So I'm glad
Look,
you did.
A lot of Asian people look alike. It's the truth. It's the truth.
Yeah, Tyler's not going to touch that one.
All right,
That's
welcome to
it.
Prime Nation Radio.
Jesus.
No,
So we're all
look,
Asian people.
when you,
We've got the racist black guy.
I think whenever a stereotype becomes
What?
that widely accepted, it's no longer racist.
It's not racist if it's true. Like, that's just the thing.
What if I say a lot of black people look alike?
That's your opinion. And I'm not going to get mad at you about it.
Opinions can be racist.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Man, I will wait for my segment and that will bring up this whole conversation right
So
here.
how about, but still going back to what I
Yeah, I would love that if like the same guy was just like there and like did his face and then like turned a corner and then like put on some sunglasses, then like did it and then like put on a mustache, then did it again.
I mean, if you, I imagine that certain people need more than 2 feet of toilet paper at a given time.
In the public bathroom, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, every bowel movement I have is long. It's a journey.
Jesus.
I'm there forever.
I pull up. I've got an iPad. I just sit on the toilet, pull up Netflix, and just go.
But you
to
can't
bed.
wipe.
Netflix?
You can't wipe with an iPad.
What? That's gross. It gets into the
Dude, I've been watching
the
I
docking port.
I finished that O.J. Simpson miniseries.
on the toilet.
On the toilet.
How do your legs not fall asleep?
Yeah.
Well-
I do, and I just have to wake them up every couple of minutes.
Yeah, I feel like our generation is going to have a much higher rate of hemorrhoids because it's a given. Everyone spends more time on the toilet because we get sucked into our phones.
Well,
That's
I'm
what
gonna have
happens.
hemorrhoids for a different reason. In the last.
We don't need to hear about
Yeah,
that.
I'm young. I'm never gonna.
Actually, you're not Tanner. I read a book on these, and they said, you're good.
Tanner
The
meth bin.
McDonald's clogs everything up in just the right way that you're set.
Although, by the way, we were saying with this toilet paper, just cheap public toilet paper, you are gonna need more than 2 feet.
I know, man. I mean, even if it's high quality Charmin, I need more than 2 feet. And I mean, I'm not gonna say anything or try not to say anything inflammatory. But based on body mass, I would guess that I need very little toilet paper compared to some other people. I didn't mean to look at you,
Say
Tyler.
me. Yeah, just say me. Just say me.
So, and I don't know
I
if
clogged
there's
my
actually...
girlfriend's toilet the other week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And it was in the middle of the night, and there's no such thing as
Ooh.
covertly.
She just pretended it wasn't you.
Yeah, I should have.
Yeah.
Someone broke in.
Hey, someone took the biggest shit I've ever seen.
Oh,
I forgot.
Should have been here for dry runs.
Ow.
Mayo water.
So that's a swear dare, yeah. We'll have to
That's-
come up with a swear dare in the next break.
Cool.
So yeah, this is the first opportunity we can tell the listeners. We are trying to be radio friendly because we're going to be going out on a couple different formats in the coming weeks. So right now it's not a big deal. We're not going to catch any fines right now. We're just on YouTube. But we are going to institute things called swear dares to get everyone in the radio friendly mode. So we're going to be coming up with something fun for Drew to do during the show.
Yeah, we should get one of those rap air horns.
Yeah.
Every single time someone swears, then you gotta press.
It's oh my gosh.
Swear dare, double swear, double dare.
Yeah, let's get-
That's brand new. No one has any air horns at all.
I know,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
That's
innovative.
breaking. I like this.
I did have some on there, but I switched them out.
Can you get like a boing?
Yeah.
Because when I wake up, I have my coffee and I make that noise.
We can get all
Or
the
say like a
wacky
really
radio
pretty
effects
girl.
if you want.
Can you get the gunshot for when I get tired of being a wacky morning radio host?
yeah, and then we got to get the brain splatter sound effect as well, and time it just right.
Just give me the sound effect of a chair sticking out from under me.
Oh, that's
and then just
dark.
like a
Nice,
like a-
Brooks.
Brooks.
From what's it called? Stephen King movie. He crawls through a mile of poop.
Oh.
Shawshank Redemption.
Shawshank
Yeah.
Okay,
Redemption.
gotcha. I knew
The
it
guy's
was a
name was
reference.
Brooks, right?
Is that it right there?
Yeah, this is the facial recognition. I don't know. Brooks doesn't sound familiar. I know Red, of course. Everyone knows Red.
Yeah, that's the first white for me. Sometimes if it was
That's a lot.
Wow.
that's the first wipe. There's
Yeah.
just like I didn't get enough and I need to wipe
It's
again.
kind of funny that this machine essentially poops out toilet paper. Back from break number 1. This is Prime Nation, March 23rd. So we talked enough about the toilet paper. Let's get into this Oculus and football. They are using the Oculus Rift, the virtual reality headset device. You guys all familiar with Oculus?
Yes.
Quite.
So they've developed this program using Oculus where they can test on the sidelines if a football player has a concussion or not. because, it's a big issue. A lot of football players are pretty much used to concussions, so they'll get concussed and then still want to keep playing, which makes things, infinitely worse. So this is a definitive test to prove whether or not they have a concussion and whether or not they're good to keep playing. So, with this, they're going to be able to save tons of memories, tons of brains, really, in general. Are you guys... What was the movie? Oh, yeah, Concussion with Will Smith.
Concussion.
Pretty simple. I don't know how I forgot that. I didn't see the movie, though. Did anyone else?
No.
Nope.
Nah.
Yeah, I know,
Seemed important.
tangentially about CTE, which is the disease that develops, after repeated brain trauma.
Like you slowly lose yourself, kind of.
In a moment.
I used to work for a multimedia company, and they had me working on this documentary they did on football concussions, and a lot of them just die or kill themselves.
Yeah, suicide is a big issue.
They lack for a better word, but they turn into monsters. I mean, if you think of, they're just huge, the biggest guys in the world, and then they get paid an insane amount of money, and then they just lose their consciousness and Well,
also in this thing I was working on, they had a lot of interviews with people who suffered from this, and they were all kind of mixed on whether they blamed the NFL or whatever. The one thing they all agreed on was that the health insurance you get when you retire lasts for 5 years, but just like a car, it's exactly how long it is before you feel the effects.
Wow.
They were all like, that's a crime. That's horrible.
Well, and from what I gather, the big issue with concussion was dealing with the legal ramifications, because the NFL apparently has known about this for quite some time.
Oh, yeah.
And didn't take any measures to, get the players the type of help they need while they're on the team, and then the insurance that, like you just described. So it's been a pretty big deal, and there's actually, I know of at least one big class action lawsuit that's going on right now against the NFL and NCAA. Where they are, signing up people who were concussed while they played because, the organizers knew the dangers of this, but they didn't relate it to the students. Because, football has been a staple in America for around 100 years. Does anyone know exactly?
Has it been that long yet?
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Close
it's actually
to
it's a lot less violent than it used to be.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because for a while there wasn't
Do
even
whatever
there
you
wasn't
want.
a forward pass.
Yeah,
So
that's
people
right.
you only ran the ball.
Yeah. I remember watching a drunk history about that, and about how it was Teddy Roosevelt who ended up getting the rules changed.
It's also a good Adam Ruins Everything About Football that covers a lot of concussion and stuff like that.
Oh, okay, cool. Man, that
but-
show is so good. I didn't expect much when I first started seeing promos, but man, he covers everything.
Oh,
Yeah. It's thorough.
The 30 for 30 on the 85 Bears, Chicago Bears team, they go from just talking about the glory days and just how violent they actually got back then. They were talking about the plays they were doing as far as defense wise. They would get fined every play, but they focused on the quarterback at the highlight. I forgot what his name was, but I believe he was suffering from CTE, and he went on a procedure to where it was fluid built up, the spine, and it was just a simple a machine just pressing his neck, and it released it, and he said he felt an immediate relief.
Wow,
but he said before all of that, he could feel his stuff slowly starting to go, affecting just violent mood swings, doing jigsaw puzzles to just keep his mind going and keep him
they
in check.
recommend things like that to people who have experienced brain trauma to do things that you're familiar with, so that whenever you notice a slip in it, do the same things day after day, so that whenever you start to notice thinking about it differently and everything like that, you can start to seek help. And I know that it's also been a problem with UFC fighters, although it's more. You kind of accept that risk when you go in, unlike with football. But with certain UFC fighters, there's definitely been a rapid decrease in their speech abilities, their memory.
Boxing too.
Yeah. Boxing is probably because boxing has been popular for so long, and pretty much all you do in boxing is get concussions.
It's people trying to give other people concussions.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Well, you get knocked down. And then there's a count, and if you get up, you continue fighting. Versus UFC, which you get if the ref just sees you you're out of it, it's just they call it right then and there.
Exactly,
and they just stop it. They step in.
And go ahead.
Oh, I'm just wondering. So, how does this VR thing in particular make? How does that tell you whether you have a concussion or not?
It's a visual. It has to do, I'm guessing, with balance and with your visual acuity.
Actually, speaking of, Dan, can you pull that picture up again of the? Because I noticed, and it's stupid, but I'm 99% sure that he's standing on
a Wii Fit board.
balance
Yeah.
board.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, so I mean, it makes a lot of sense to me that it would have to do with balance and with visual acuity in terms of, they probably give you some sort of test similar to what you get at the eye doctor, to see your reaction time to things and to see if you're, perceiving things accurately. But with virtual reality, obviously Dan and I are really big into virtual reality, and we've given a couple of you guys, sort of experiences in it. But other than that, do you guys have much experience with virtual reality?
I have a viewer. Is that the correct?
Yeah,
term
like
for
an
it?
adapter for your phone or something.
Yeah, I got one of those for Christmas from my parents, and I'm very excited for them upping my porn game the way that they have.
It was cool. I guess the one I got to use, I'm like, this is just corny. Like this is it's kind of. I'm like, this is cool. Like, I'm just looking around.
CGI?
It was no.
It was live action.
Yeah, that's middle school Gerard. He would have got hype for some stuff like that. But this one, it was like it's like I'm just sitting there. Well, for one, it was a white guy, but it was like I'm just sitting there, and then like it's just like two girls just there, and it was just kind of it was just corny. Like it was just whack. I'm like, this is boring.
Oh wait, are you talking about porn?
I didn't want to go into a porn tangent.
Yeah, just commenting on his thing.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
So that explains the cartoon.
I like the VR porn because I like looking at just the architecture of the house.
And
just
that's a very nice fireplace they have there.
I can honestly say I've never ventured into the realm of VR porn.
It's
but
corny.
there's lots of other interesting things to mine in VR. And one of the reason why I brought it up is because whenever you're playing a game or something like that, and if you're just sitting still, your brain starts to play tricks on you because your brain perceives movement from your eyes, but it knows that your balance isn't off, you're not actually moving. So that's why people start to feel motion sickness after a certain time.
I've never been motion sick.
Yeah?
Like in my life. I'm like reading a book in a car, doing anything with VR stuff.
How would you describe it? Because I think I might have gotten it on like long car trips.
Yeah,
maybe.
You feel kind of like swimmy in your head. It's like pressure.
Oh, nah.
You ever read on the bus?
Yeah.
I get really bad motion sickness. I can't even go out on boats. I can't do it.
I always just get like a queasy feeling. That's it.
I've been seasick.
Yeah. That was the only thing. I used to always read on the bus and everything like that, so I never really had issues with motion sickness. But yeah, when my girlfriend and I took a cruise almost 3 years ago now, and that was the first time that I'd ever been seasick when you're just on a giant boat. And it was fine until we went to eat, and then you just see the line of windows, and you see the ocean over here on the one window, and then a few minutes later it comes up on the other window just because you're rocking back and forth. It's just... I'd never been in anything that big on the ocean, so I never felt seasick, but that was pretty rough that night.
I can only do VR for a short period of time before I have to take it off. I'm one of those. Even though it's impressive how I'm able to last as long as I am, in terms of I think the VR is impressive. The VR is impressive that I'm able to last as long as I am.
Nice.
Good save. And but yeah, I can't do it for long periods of time.
Nice. I can't do. I've only had like relatively limited experience with VR, but the games where you're moving around a lot and everything like that, I can't really do. But if it's more or less stationary, I can be in there for a while.
Are you talking about the what about that jetpack game?
Yeah, jetpack, for instance. And there's a game called Jump.
Is that what you're talking about, where you get queasy?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that one I would have played more, but the controller died.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I almost found out how to launch the rocket, but couldn't do it.
And like I said, I've never had a problem reading on the bus or anything like that, but it's just something about, once I hit like the 7-minute mark in that jetpack game, it starts to just mess with me. And I think it is because my brain is sending a signal to my body saying, yeah, you should be moving right now. Because it's just so, and the whole reason I brought this up is just because it's such a different sensation than what you're used to, because you look around and every direction you turn, there's something artificial there.
Yeah.
So, they can put anything, whether it's, a bunch of dots that help them measure scientifically. Maybe they're measuring where you're looking or anything.
It's like the weird, like you get the border. Like you can clearly see like a border, but then you have like the actual screen and you just turning. So it's like it's like what you're looking at, but then like you see like it's like you're just looking without anything on your face, if that makes any sense.
With the
what I just said.
With the concussion testing, I'd assume that it's kind of similar to what police officers look for when they like do DUIs.
Yeah.
Like it's probably measuring how much your eyes dilate and contract.
Yeah.
How quickly they can, adhere to movement, whether they can follow things.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm guessing it is too. But either way, this is just one emerging use for VR that I'm confident VR is going to be helpful in a lot more aspects than people expect it to be, because traditionally people think of VR and expect just like entertainment or maybe even a little bit of medical training and things like that. But I mean, you really can use it for any number of things.
I remember maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I saw a video about how they were actually using VR to help burn victims. They put them in a snowy situation.
To help burn victims?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
They distract them with the VR, then they'd set them on fire.
Well,
Whoa.
no, they just gave them a Samsung 6 or whichever one, the Galaxy 6.
Yeah, and then it would just explode on them.
Yeah. But yeah, apparently it would actually make it easier for them to deal with the burns. Like, they just felt cooler by engaging in these snowy simulations.
Whoa. Oh,
Yeah.
I know that they've definitely used it to help people deal with claustrophobia, any number of, phobias like that, because you can interact so closely and be in this environment knowing you're not in any danger. Another one that I saw is people who have a fear of the ocean. They'll put them into this really realistic ocean simulator.
Into the ocean, like just drop. You're falling into the ocean.
Yeah. And you have a whale swim right by you and stuff like that.
It
Oh,
didn't
just
help me
terrifying.
when the very first VR thing I got to try, I'm very afraid of heights, and the very first VR thing I got to try put me on top of a skyscraper, and I immediately took it off. I'm like, no, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
That depends. Was it like actual on top of a building, or was it like 3D animation on top of a building?
No, it was actual on top of a building.
Ooh, I don't know how I do with that.
Yeah,
I'm very bad.
when you get like the really cinematic VR stuff, it's mind blowing. That's the stuff that takes
Do you
my breath
think
away.
they'll evolve into like a Black Mirror thing where you put it on and it's just like your worst fear? Like you put it on and then it's just like you're at a clown birthday party.
That
or,
would
like,
be
you put it
interesting.
on. And,
We'd have to have like mind reading technology too for that.
You put it on and you're a white guy and you're in a three-way and you're in a bad architecturally built house. Worst fear, I don't know.
So I think that's incredible that they're able to put that technology to use, because most people wouldn't expect for football and VR to have much in common, but so they're kind of merging the two worlds in a helpful way. And clearly it's become more and more evident over the years that CTE and brain trauma is a much bigger deal than anyone previously thought.
Who's that? Who's the old gentleman from the article?
Yeah, that picture would just show up every now and then.
I just closed the article, so I'm not sure. I imagine it was a former football player.
I think I could take him. Pretty sure.
Yeah, that picture reminded me of a way less scary picture of David Rockefeller. Have you guys been seeing
He
that
looks
picture going around?
awful.
Well, he's dead.
Yeah, it was weird how
He was a philanthropist, so.
I mean, it's cool, but he just looked like, wow, you lived a rough life. Like,
yeah.
God,
Didn't he have
Jesus.
3 hearts?
he
Yeah.
would.
Yeah, one in
Well-
his body, 2 in jars.
Well, it was funny because all the articles talked about how he's a philanthropist and everything like that. But then, as the flame sort of died down and people can take a step back from it, I've been seeing way more about how much of a piece of crap he was.
That's how everybody is. Yeah, that's what they all
He was
do.
a rich socialite for 100 years.
I mean, a Rockefeller.
Obviously, he did something horrible.
He was around. He died at 101, so he was born in 1916.
I read a story that he used to roller skate up and down with his brothers on Fifth Avenue, and a limo would follow them just in case they got tired.
Oh my God! I was gonna say he was born in 1916.
We can all relate to that.
They're exercising.
Yeah. You get tired. Smithers stops. Makes you a nice tea.
But
Rubs
we
your
won't
feet.
dwell on David Rockefeller. Let's get into AT&T pulling ads from YouTube. We probably won't dwell too much on this, but it's just interesting that they're finally starting to take notice of this. That random ads would show up next to these white supremacy videos or anti-LGBTQ videos and all that stuff. Oh, excuse me. Yeah.
LGBTQIA.
So
IA.
What does IA stand for?
Lesbian, gay, bisexual,
Transgender.
transgender, queer. LGBT.
Why is that on there?
Queer?
Yeah.
I is
Like queer
I is
sexual?
intersex,
To be honest, I actually use the phrase.
and A is
queer.
asexual.
I always just say queer community because LGBTQIA is very long and queer is a one-syllable word.
I like letters together like that. What is that called?
acronym.
I love acronyms, so
Yeah.
not enough to know the name, but I like.
I thought
Yeah, the
acronyms had
longer
to
the
spell a
acronym.
word, though.
No,
They don't, not necessarily.
Okay.
Good acronyms do.
Oh, are you discriminating against the LGBTQIA community?
Step it up, LGBTQ.
Hey, that's a word.
You didn't include I and A. You're being very.
I know. I'm sorry.
Libergatia?
Yeah, it does sound better with IA.
Almost sounds like liberal. Coincidence?
I think not.
I always just say queer. That's my new go-to.
And,
not new, but...
and queer essentially means that you're attracted to same sex.
You don't find yourself straight and cisgendered, I'd say.
Okay.
Cisgen. I'm tired of all of these phrases. Like, I'm sorry. Let's get back into the ads.
Well, I think
Gerard's tired of being inclusive.
It's just because I was about to
go back to when Asians all look the same.
I was about to just go on this a wild tangent. We will hold it for my segment. Keep talking about the AT&T ads,
You are
please.
an old white man.
Let's stay focused. We will get to that in a second.
Yes, Grandpa, I'm sorry.
Is get out, come to life.
That's it.
Get out of my lawn.
Y'all wish it was.
But Dave Chappelle brought up a good point because I want everyone to feel comfortable. I want everyone to feel included and everything like that.
Yeah.
I just think that you have to be rational and realize that it's going to take some time for people to accept.
I agree with that 100%. Yeah.
I'm not sure I agree with the immediately. Oh God, cisgendered's what we got to learn more terms now. Like this is cool. No one.
I kind of agree with that a little bit. Like you're going a little OD on it a little bit. You're getting very like sub. Like just let's have these terms.
Yeah.
And like let's just get to an understanding.
Well, I mean,
what's this thing called interracial marriage? Why do I have to learn that? I ain't gonna be doing it.
There's a difference to me when it's about being inclusive and then when it's about just finding something to be outraged over.
It's just constantly like it's just more and more like there's a girl that I'm friends with on Facebook and she said she was pretty much that she has like
something else.
Like she has like an alter ego like as a man.
Mm-hmm.
But like it was like a new term that like I never heard of it before. I'm like this seems like now you're just trying a little more. I'm not taking anything away from you. Like that's cool. That's how you feel. But now it's just like I didn't see a reason for that.
Yeah. Do you think coming out of the closet now, like they have to spice it up a little?
That's
bit?
what I'm saying. Like you're just doing a whole lot more. Like if you
came down, Dad, I'm gay. All right. I'm a trans something.
The guy who was trying to come out as gay to all his friends, and he expected a big reaction, and they're like, oh yeah, whatever. And then the idea was he was supposed to be coming out as gay, and then he's like, I'm bi, and then they're all freaking out.
Okay, I see.
Like,
he just wanted a reaction from him.
No. The idea was like he said he was coming out, and he didn't say his what, and they just assumed gay and were cool with it.
Okay, I see.
And then when he said he was bi, they freaked out, and he's like, yeah, this is what I wanted. This is what I expected.
That's just some attention-seeking nonsense.
That's also a college humor video.
Yeah, it's a college humor
video.
It's exaggerated for effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said,
grumpy old dude.
I don't fault anyone for wanting to be, if they want to have an alter ego, if they want to identify as one person one day and another person the next day.
Like doing.
Just know that not everyone is going to accept that outright. It's going to take some time for people to get used to it. And truthfully,
these are people who know that it's going to take time for people to get used to it.
Well, and there is a generation of people who probably won't get used to it before they're not around anymore.
And I can't wait for them to die.
Yeah.
The problem is there's too many young people that still feel that way.
Well, we'll see once all the older relatives die.
I like how you're blaming the older people and you yourself are a bit rigid on the changes.
We will get to me in a second. Let's not focus on that. Let's not focus on me right now.
Well, both of these.
Wow, what a politician we got here.
Both of these we've filled up a lot of conversation with minimal topics. I like it, but we're already almost at time for our second break. But let's talk real quick about these pictures. Oh,
sorry.
Let's just skip the YouTube ads. We got the gist of that. But the pictures that were able to be smuggled out of North Korea. It's
what is so important about these? Important?
Just it gives us a look into what it's like in North Korea, which is relatively rare. More and more often, you're seeing photos are able to make their way out.
Like they only grant like very very few visitor visas.
Welcome back to Toilet Paper Talk. How do you wipe your butt?
You want to make that your segment?
Oh yeah. How do you wipe? How do you?
Good morning, America.
You must have just wiped your butt. Please call in and tell us how you did.
We're talking 2-ply. We're talking 3-ply. We're talking. Are there more than 2 or 3 plies?
Probably.
We're getting down to the nitty gritty. The news that you need in your life. How to wipe your butt. Actually, that's
it's
a pretty good segue into Captain Underpants.
Tra-la-la-la-la. Oh, I did
on,
a
guys.
couple
Actually,
extra.
yeah, tra-la-la.
All right, look, I'm excited, obviously, about the movie.
Nice.
Very
Oh,
hyped.
well, it looks
Yeah.
great.
This trailer came out yesterday, and
Psyched.
you're gonna notice it looks, animation wise, it looks great. Like they translated that, it's based on a series of kids books, but they translated that art style of 3D really well.
Yeah, it's especially like with the hand just there. That was straight out of the book.
Yeah, and like how when the principal he jumped up like his
hair.
Yeah, like
I like that with the oscillating fan.
I like the weird cylindrical body shape.
Yeah.
And
And Tanner, you brought up a good point earlier, in that the Peanuts movie was able to sort of replicate that animation style with CGI.
Totally reminds me like how the Peanuts movie was able to do that. It's not the same studio. It's just that they found a way. That tiger joke was great, by the way. That tiger that only has like 2 frames.
Look at his fade though. Like this, just that little detail. It's like I'm already sold on it.
Yeah.
Like, excuse me, that's not a fade. That's a taper. That's the tape at the
And
end.
the voices, like I was surprised when I read that it was going to be Thomas Middleditch and Kevin Hart. Like I was like, oh, I don't know how that's going to sound. But then I was like, oh, like they sound really. I mean, like how I imagined.
I was actually kind of worried that Kevin Hart wouldn't pull it off, but I thought Thomas Middleditch would. And then I'm totally reversed now. I love Kevin Hart's take. I'm not sure about Thomas Middleditch's.
I like the line where he's like, maybe we could just walk out and then nothing will happen.
Ed Helms with Captain Underpants.
Yeah,
that's perfect.
that is great.
He's nailing it.
And then Jordan Peele as the
He's gonna be the
Melvin.
main kid,
yeah.
I like Nick Kroll as a
Kroll-
Poopy Pants.
Yeah, Nick
man.
Kroll is like basing his career now on just doing funny voices, but it works for this.
I mean, he was silly in Sausage Party. Yeah, I watched it the second time. I didn't pay attention to the puns he did.
Yeah,
the first time around.
I like
yeah.
Nick Kroll in Sausage Party, but that is a garbage movie. Like
I've
seen it 3 times.
Yeah.
I've seen it 3 times, and like I've hated it each time I've seen it.
Why'd you watch it 3 times then?
I don't know, just because I hate myself.
I think they made it sort of to be a garbage movie because it's so tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
But it's I appreciate it for what it is. I like Michael Cera a lot in that movie.
Yeah,
That's the best part.
Yeah, he is great as the one who goes through the
And he
journey.
cuts off the head. He goes, "Oh yeah, he died." I'm like,
Yeah.
Get out of here. Yeah.
I love whenever Michael Cera just jumps the line, like in This Is the End, when you walk in and he's doing coke off
and he slaps Rihanna's ass.
I like Craig Robinson and he used the box of grits.
Yeah.
I didn't pick up on that.
Did you not pick up on that?
I was just about to say
every stereotype in the world.
who's Nick Kroll?
He was the
He was the douche.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
I only saw the movie once, and that
he
was
was like, "Come on, bro, you know what I am?
That's
I'm
right.
the douche."
Yeah. Nick Kroll, man. I mean, I never really was into him that much until Kroll's show, but just the voices that he did on that show alone.
He's been working forever. You know what's crazy? I was just listening to Mark Maron's new podcast. He had Paul Rust and Dax Shepard, but he was talking about Paul Rust was talking about how he auditioned for SNL along with, it was the year Bobby Moynihan got on, but it was with Jordan Peele and like Keegan-Michael Key and Nick Kroll, and they all auditioned. And I was like, imagine that cast.
Wow.
Imagine how good that would be.
That would have, and that was the time I imagine when
good.
SNL was needing some solid cast members.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how they didn't make that. That's crazy.
I think when Bobby Moynihan came on, I think the only African American guy was Keenan. I don't think. Finis.
They, for whatever reason, they try to keep it tight usually with the African American cast members interchangeable. I mean, it's just what I mean that and it, like I remember second season of Walking Dead where they in the prison and like it was another black guy. He was like a prisoner. And I was just like, oh, it's looking shaky.
That is true.
And then T-Dog, he died like the beginning of that season.
He like sacrificed himself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm just like, man, this is more stank.
So Captain Underpants was, a cornerstone of pretty much all of our childhoods.
Yes.
I read those books. My brother had them, and then I got to read them. The one I remember the most is Wedgie Woman. The
Wicked Wedgie Lady.
Oh, yeah.
Woman? Or, woman.
It was
I
a
can't
lot
remember
of
any of
a lot
these
of
titles.
alliteration.
I never read the books.
Hold on.
Alliteration.
Hold on. I pulled up the list on Wikipedia. Hold on. I got you.
These were the books where I learned how to read, and then I got good at reading these.
Yeah.
This is the book that made me want to read.
No, that's what's weird is that these books are actually considered to be really good for kids.
Yeah.
Partly because they have enough reading, but they have enough other activities in the book.
Exactly, they're really interactive. And
they're juvenile, but not in a bad way. This is normally when you say that, it's an insult. I actually think this is great for kids.
I mean, that's like your adult brain, just like I guess analyzing it now.
Yeah, I mean, it's like media for kids, like almost as if by kids.
The
like
first,
it's what kids want to laugh at.
The first book came out.
Yeah.
Fubu.
For You by You.
Oh yeah, I was thinking the clothing brand.
Yeah. But I mean that is what it for us. By excuse me.
Oh, is that what it's?
Oh, look at me. Yeah.
That's what Fubu is.
You're right. It came out in '99. Yeah.
97. The first one. The first one came out in 97.
All right.
Yes. So I was in first grade. The second one was Attack of the Talking Toilets. Then you got The Invasion of the Incredibly Naughty Cafeteria Ladies from Outer Space. It's a very long title.
Yeah.
They all had long titles after the first one. Also, I didn't realize the title of this movie is Captain Underpants, the first epic movie. In reference, I guess the first book was actually called Adventures of Captain Underpants, the first epic novel.
Oh, nice.
No, the first one is just The Adventures of Captain Underpants.
Look at the cover. It says.
I'm looking at the wiki page right now.
Okay, well look at the cover on the wiki page.
We're talking about titles.
Yeah, we're talking about titles. You know what title is usually on the cover?
You have a phone as well, Tanner.
Yeah.
You can refute him using other sources.
Oh, thank you, Dan.
The internet is in your pocket.
No, the cover is the first image that showed up.
That was probably like the tagline, the first epic novel.
It says the first epic novel by Dave Pilkey.
Yeah. So
that's the
tagline.
Yes.
The title,
yes. Come on,
so
man.
does this imply that there's going to be more movies?
Yeah, of course.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got to.
Great.
Yeah, this is easily franchisable, and even I wouldn't be surprised if they try to expand the universe. I don't know what the novels have done.
The Captain America MCU. It's Captain America, Star-Lord, and Captain America and the Infinity Wars.
If Samuel L. Jackson showed up at the end of this movie as
the Avenger Initiative.
He's like, I'm here tough.
It's Super Diaper Baby. It's Captain Underpants. It's Big Melvin. BM.
What was the other one?
So that's what I was saying to Drew. So in the fifth book, there was a moment where the bully kid Melvin gets superpowers, and then he says his name is now Big Melvin, and he inscribes the initials onto like a wall.
But he writes it like all over town. It's just BM.
One of the kids says like, BM's exactly what I think of you, and I was just blown away because my family, we described poop as BM, and that was the first time I'd ever seen something outside of my family describe poop as BM, and I felt validated in that moment.
That's like the number one indicator that your family's just not comfortable around each other when you have to refer to poop as BM.
Oh, we're comfortable around each other now. Childhood, on the other hand, very different story.
And for instance, laughs spelled LAFF.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Like
there's all those little tropes that show up in this book, and it's cool because it's all Dave Pilkey. It's not like it's from some brain trust and everything like that. Yeah. It's almost like it's like an underground book. Almost.
You're totally right. It's his mind. It's his imagination, and I think this. It's weird. Like I said, it's juvenile, but I would recommend this to kids anytime. Dan, good work. Oh man. But I'm actually kind of surprised I'm as excited for this movie as I am. It might not be like the best or smartest kids movie. It might not be Zootopia, but it looks fun, which I can appreciate.
Zootopia was like this is a kids movie with parents. You should watch this too.
Yeah, I mean I liked it, but I didn't love it. I love Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Oh, see,
I've never seen it.
That
one's so good. Andy Samberg, Bill Hader, Anna Faris.
I'm kind of hoping that this is like that, where that first trailer for Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, I think all the trailers were kind of bad. They made it look like a generic kids movie, and then it comes out and it's like hilarious.
Joke. Like the Lego movies.
Yeah, I think this might be.
And that's what animated movies have always incorporated visual gags, but I think now it's at the level where there's like a dozen visual gags going on. Like in the Lego movie, there's always funny stuff you pick up on in the background that you didn't see the first time.
It's like joke. It's crazy, and I like that because it's like they're taking like the. Like almost like when I heard the Lego movie was coming out, I almost got like angry. I was like, "That's the dumbest thing in the world."
I want a Mega Bloks movie.
Yeah, where's my Diplo or not Diplo? Duplo. Yeah, Diplo.
Where's Bop It?
Yeah. Where's the Lincoln Logs movie?
Ooh, Bop It, and it's about like a.
They are waiting for that Bop It movie to happen. You know they are.
Guy defuses bombs, but it's all
Bop It.
And he
hooks up his Bop It to the bomb.
What's that movie where he drives the car and he has to be like
Drive?
No, the one
Speed.
It's like Speed, but it's like he's got to keep doing the Bop It.
Wait, you say he drives a car?
No, but doesn't he have to drive a? Okay,
it's a bus.
He's not even driving a bus.
I haven't seen the movie.
Well, actually, he drives a bus.
He doesn't drive it.
He doesn't drive it.
Okay,
we're just gonna take apart
every. Drew's an idiot.
Yes.
And he doesn't know what he's talking about.
All right. I think
he drives a boat.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yep.
That's right.
Does he? I never saw the
Yeah,
one.
I never.
didn't either.
I never saw it.
Oh,
And there's
man.
something with an iceberg, I think, right?
He drives an iceberg in the third one.
Is that where that Family Guy gag came from?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
of Robot Chicken, where they did Speed 3 and he's driving a school bus.
That wouldn't be
It's
much different than the first
It's
one.
a funny gag.
Yeah, I mean, I trust if Robot Chicken did it. So Captain Underpants, like we said, cornerstone of our childhood. It's exciting. It's going to be a movie, and it looks like the trailer already has exceeded my expectations.
Yeah, I didn't have them, and now I do.
Yeah, same here. So moving on to Beauty and the Beast, which has already made more than 400 million worldwide on Tuesday. Do you have that exact number, Tyler?
It has made. No, I don't have that exact number.
I think it's like 457. But either way, Business Insider is estimating it could make $1.5 billion by the time it's done in theaters.
I don't
How long has it been out now? How long has it been out now?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. We got.
Sorry.
If you hear another voice, don't open your mouth at that time. So one at a time. Tyler.
I have the exact number. It is 428,461,124 worldwide, 206 domestic, and 222 foreign.
Nice. And then I'm gonna look up the budget. What were you gonna say, Tanner?
Oh, no, I was asking who else sighed.
And there was
I've got nothing against this movie in particular. It's just that, man, Disney is...
Actually.
This is just almost inbreeding, I feel like, at this point. They're just recycling their old stuff in new ways. They're finding new ways to drag it out.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't they doing Mulan live action next?
I read something was like Mulan's not going to be...
No, they corrected that pretty quickly.
Okay,
they were
cool.
like, no, Mulan is definitely going to be Asian.
Oh,
It's gonna
okay.
be set in China.
Okay.
Yeah, they got to learn from Ghost in the Shell and from Doctor Strange. They can't keep whitewashing stuff.
I don't know.
I saw the guy who almost was Iron Fist. That guy would have been awesome.
Oh,
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I didn't know they were considering it.
But I mean, well, the origins for Iron Fist, I don't know much about him, but
he's a white guy. I'm not saying. I don't mean the race thing. I just mean the guy is clearly a better actor and like more fun, and he's like so much more charismatic.
Yeah,
and like you just like him. Like I haven't seen Iron Fist, but like the 5 seconds I was watching that guy, and then the 5 seconds I watched the other guy, like I was like, I'd rather see
the
10
nail in the
episodes of
coffin.
that
I mean,
guy.
I can't say the nail in the coffin because I still want to give it a try just to prepare for Defenders. But I watched the first episode of Iron Fist, and
I'm on like episode 3 right now,
Oh, yeah?
and like when he first like uses his powers, it was kind of like this is a like where did that even come from? Like what?
In the whole first episode, there's no mention of him being heroic, even not to mention super heroic.
Yeah.
But the actor, what I was gonna say is the dude who played Loras from Game of Thrones. As soon as I heard he was cast, I was immediately skeptical, just because he has no intensity about him. He has no, he's not a convincing martial artist even in the show. After who knows how much training he did. But when they first announced it too, I had no clue how he was going to get into that sort of mindset or shape, and clearly it's not really what people were looking for.
Yeah. But Beauty and the Beast, man.
But I think it makes sense. It's logical of Disney to go through it. They already know these stories are successful, and people want to see them in a new format. And plus, we have new talent, we have new casts, and more special effects and things like that. I'm not mad at them for recycling their properties, because I mean, we can be mad at every studio for that at this point. In fact, I'm not mad at Disney for anything regarding Beauty and the Beast, or in general. I don't have a beef with Disney.
Again, it's not like anger or nothing. It's just I don't know. I know it's cliche at this point to say that Hollywood's out of ideas, but this one really is like.
Well, actually, they just had Get Out come out in
that's the
theaters.
thing. Then you see Get Out, and then it's like, oh, they do have ideas.
Yeah, there are ideas. It's just about if producers want to invest in them or not. If they think they're worth. Putting their time into, which they know for a fact they're going to make their money back on Beauty and the Beast. So of course they're going to move forward on it. But original stories, you don't have that bar that's already been set by the animated or by Disney's other live action adaptation.
Why invest in possibility? Like
because these
like
people,
a maybe, and when it's a sure thing, this will sell.
The movie studios are in the business of making money. They're not in the business of making art.
People forget that. You forget that real quick. They're
and like the thing is, like some people, like the only way that movies can get made if they are already like an existing franchise. Like sometimes people want to make a movie. Like we were talking about Cloud of Chance Meatballs. They want to make like a fun kid comedy, which like joke, but it's like we can't just make a new one, So they take like existing property. But I had a question, like. Because I'm kind of bummed that this is going to that you're saying it's going to make $1 billion. Because that means they're just going to keep doing this. Because they're going to keep doing this. And
Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it, but I've seen all the other ones. And, like, I like the cartoon ones, and not to remake them, but it's like I already saw it, so I'm not gonna see it again.
Well, it's a remake of a classic story.
Classic story,
yeah.
true.
So
but
there is that at the end of the day, it'd be another thing if they said we're doing a live action remake of Toy Story.
Yeah,
Well,
I agree.
I'd see that.
I would definitely protest. I would protest that.
I'd check that out.
Nah.
What were you gonna say, Tyler?
Speaking of franchises and big money ticket items, we have the Infinity War costs. Then.
Yeah.
Also, excuse me. I think they're paying for Infinity War with Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
Some of it, because I don't know if they make the $1.5 billion, it might finance it. But Infinity War is going to cost $500 million across both movies, so $1 billion total.
Yeah. So and I remember hearing about a year and a half ago that they were expecting the combined total to be around $500 million, which was already the highest budget for any franchise. But now,
not true. You have Pirates of the Caribbean. The last one on its own made $378.5 million.
What?
You're kidding? That's
or didn't make. I'm sorry, that's the budget.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's the budget. Yeah.
Wow.
And then the Hobbit trilogy was $745 million.
Oh yeah.
That was expensive.
That was the budget for all three?
All three of the Hobbit, but the Pirates of the Caribbean, that was only that last one. That was $378.5.
God, so that's roughly $250 per movie for The Hobbit. That's insane.
I think with the Infinity War, as much as now it's just, we know Marvel dominates the world, like, that was a huge experiment to do all those interconnecting movies into one movie. Mm-hmm. And I feel like this is the culmination of all that, so they're like, go big or go home.
Oh, yeah.
We might never get to do something like this again.
And we have Inhumans coming up after Infinity War, right?
Yeah.
Actual movie?
It's a TV show now.
Yeah. Oh, it's what?
It's a TV show that's going to be airing in IMAX theaters. Like, apparently it's going to be like an 8-episode show. They've already got the cast, and it's going to look good, I guess.
I have to go to the movies.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. actually introduced Inhumans, and he's been running with that plotline for a couple of seasons.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how they spin that off into its own movie, especially after Infinity War.
I'm interested to see what they're going to do after Infinity War. I don't think they're going to be done. There's no way.
No,
I think that's why they're doing so much with Infinity War, though, is I think Kevin Feige knows, like, this might be, people might get sick after this. So let's do the big movie.
How many years has it been now since it started?
Since 2008.
Yeah, Iron Man.
With Iron Man.
Yeah, almost 10 years. Wow. That is actually kind of nuts.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely putting all their chips on the table, but I have no doubt that it's going to make the money back. And, I mean, it's going to be with all the... I mean, for one, just having all those characters is going to be insane, coordinating all the schedules, coordinating...
It's going to be every character, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be Iron Man, Captain America...
I know there's at least
Spider-Man.
68. At least 68
characters?
Yeah.
In Infinity War?
Yeah.
All the Black Panther, and then they haven't even made those movies yet.
Yeah.
And don't forget, they could still
They're making
have
that one right
secret projects in the pipeline that we don't even know about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they've already got the next phase all figured out, even if they haven't released it yet.
Because there's still, what's crazy is, like, people are saying, oh, they got to run out sometime. There's so much stuff to pull.
No, yeah, because even after they get done with Thanos, they can expand way out there.
I'm kind of hoping, and they'll never do this. I would love if Thanos was all a big fake out and the main villain of the Marvel Universe was Kang.
Ha.
I would love
Kang the Conqueror?
Yes.
Thank
you, Dan. That wasn't...
They should... Honestly, I think if people should learn to just, like, you know what, let's just leave it alone. Like, let's focus on other things
that's why
besides just keep doing it. Like, I feel like what Key and Peele did, like, we got 5 seasons out of it, so let's try something
No,
new.
they did 4
5.
and they were done.
I thought it was 5.
You think of Breaking Bad where they did 5?
No, Key and Peele.
They
Sketch
did 4.
show?
Yeah, I know what it is. I know just Breaking Bad also did 5.
They did multiple seasons. They could have kept going, but
they decided they quit on their own. I'm pretty sure it was 4 because that's what Monty Python
but
did.
Okay.
We all get what you're saying.
Yeah. All right, we get the gist of it. Yeah,
we don't have to have the exact number of seasons.
That's why I was like, you know what? Okay, I don't know the number of seasons, but
yeah, we know what you're saying. You made your point.
Yes, they stopped.
Well, I mean, with comic books, superhero comic books in particular, because they've been going on for so long. Actually, what I enjoy about modern superhero comics is they have to go crazier. They have to go into insane stories that they never would have taken a risk on, like Superior Spider-Man.
Nothing a room full of 5 white guys and 1 black dude can't do. It's solve racism.
Yeah. Let's give it
a
whack.
But if nothing else, even if we won't solve it, we can maybe illuminate our thoughts.
Yeah. Let's get that clear right here. That's not going anywhere at all until everybody looks the same and they move on to whatever problem they want to have.
Unfortunately, I think you're right. Unfortunately, because you brought up a good point, and I don't want to steal your thunder by saying this, but your topic for today is racism versus prejudice.
Yes.
So I think I've had this opinion, and people have gotten offended by it, and of course I don't mean it to be offensive, but I think that there's always going to be prejudice against people who don't look like you, just because it's almost inherent in human beings to want to believe that you're the best, you know?
Yeah, it's like a very thin line between the two, because I think in between it, it's just plain ignorance. It's just you not knowing enough, or you not learning enough, or people just not willing to learn at all. Like
that's sort of a good line to draw, because you could say prejudice is on one side and then ignorance is right in the middle, and then once you cross over ignorance, that's when you get into racism.
Yeah, but for me, honestly, it's like once you start getting like racism and racist stuff, like it's hate behind there. Like there's some type of ill intent behind it. Well, as far as like somebody's prejudice, you make a comment like I did earlier, where they said, how good is the technology for the toilet machine? Well, I mean, for the toilet paper machine, I'm like, well, it has to be pretty good because it's in Asia. Somebody might say, like, well, you're racist. Nah, that's just me making an opinion. I actually have a thing for Asian women. Anybody listening and watching this right now, but it's like I don't have any ill intent against like Asian people or the Asian community. Like,
so I want to reverse the statement that I made, because I think that racism isn't ignorance. Racism is a conscious decision, whereas prejudice is more ignorance.
Yeah, well, it's like you chose to hate this group of people just because of this thing that you don't understand or you might dislike about them.
And I think that at this point, racism is pretty much just passed down from generations. I don't think that we're at the point, because
I broke the cycle.
Yeah. But because we have the internet, we have so many shows and everything that show us how people live in different parts of the world, and really we're all the same. We're all going through the same struggles. That I think that's sort of illuminated that in a good way, but people who are still racist, I think, and I'm not judging this on any facts, but I feel like it's more based on your family, your upbringing, who you hang around with, and stuff like that.
True. It's especially with social media now, like people are so quick to call somebody a racist and attack them, especially like on Twitter. So like I remember it was like late last year to when I kind of asked myself, I'm like, are black people starting like to oppress us a little bit by how quick we are to attack specifically like white people and whatnot? For certain things, well, it's like I guess people see it as like a game, but like Twitter has gotten people fired from their jobs for just tweets and whatnot. But
I remember one guy like got in a plane, said something stupid, and by the time he got his phone back on when he landed, he's fired.
Yep, done, out of there.
Not to overcorrect, but it was a woman. But
I'm sorry.
I know. There was only 3 seasons of.
Where are the women in the show, by the way? So.
Where's the more than one black guy? We're falling in the Walking Dead trap.
Hey, look, man. Hey, look. I'm not saying that's how I got on the show, but it's whatever, man. It was
definitely your wit and comedic talent.
Well,
right,
wow.
We're gonna start this up again with a young
so well spoken.
No, I think you're one of the good ones, honestly.
Funny enough, I used to have pretty much hanging around a bunch of like white guys in my hometown of Camden. Very, very small. Like I was one of 81 students that graduated class of 2010.
Wow, so that's like 300 people total in the school?
Maybe. But like one of the friends I used to hang out with, his granddad, very, very old guy, but he was cool. And apparently he would ask if I wasn't around. He's like, "Where's Ron? That's a good guy. Like, he's a hardworking young man. Like, I guess seeing like he's one of the good ones." But is that a racist or a prejudice thing to say?
Yeah, I mean,
and also it's making progress. Like it's. Damn, that's the best you can do for someone that old.
Yeah.
Like, that is the best you can hope to do.
And that's the thing you have to understand. Like, this person came from a different time period to where these things were going on.
Just like we were talking about with, the transgender issues and things like that, it's going to take time to accept. This is not anywhere near to that
These
level.
These are two apples and oranges. Like
because this is something that should have been ingrained in people a long time ago, the color of your skin, which is all a construct. We've talked about this in the dry runs, that it's all based on class. And really is just a way to differentiate between rich and poor.
Yeah.
That they found this obvious marker, for poor people, and then you had racism against poor whites too.
Like I like when certain things it gets like the documentary The 13th about like the systematic oppression and whatnot. I like how it transitioned from talking about like racism in America, and then showing how like big business is the problem because now they're really just trying to lock people up
They're people
for money and whatnot.
Like, it's a ruling. They're people too.
Whatever.
Rip Romney, yes.
They did it in another one. It's a documentary on Netflix, Search for General Tso.
Yeah.
Where they start talking about like how it's American culture now, like these Chinese restaurants. How it's pretty much American food.
Appropriation, yeah.
But it just sneaks in like just how rough like Asian immigrants had when they came over here and how like ridiculous it was and whatnot. So, and even still today, like the problems that they have. So like just how like it started with racism, but there's a bigger picture behind it.
Yeah.
Like
So,
go ahead.
Well, I've just got a question. What do you feel about the statement? Because I remember someone telling me essentially black people can't be racist; they can be prejudiced because racism.
No.
I've heard that.
Black people are racist to the.
Well, Gerard, what I'm saying, okay, what they said is because racism, the definition is from the top down, essentially, from the race that controls everything, using it to oppress other races. And so black people can't technically be racist, but they, of course, can be prejudiced.
Nah, that's just somebody trying to cover
Where did they
butt.
get their definition?
Yeah, exactly. That's the nonsense that I'm getting right there. Well, like, excuse me, this side, the comment. Well, like, they say I can't be racist, and then they explain themselves. It's like, no. Black people can be racist, and we do it a lot. It's just more socially acceptable.
Yeah.
Like, when we make, like, real ignorant comments. Like, for the every KKK member, there are a couple of black Israelites out there that hate white people with a passion.
And not only that, I mean, I'm not sharing any inside scoops here, but you have black people who are racist against other black people, and in terms of dark skin, light skin, where
absolutely,
you're from.
that whole class, like interclassism in the black community.
Did you see what Samuel Jackson said about the star of Get Out?
Yeah, it was. I honestly didn't see the entire clip. I heard like a snippet of it.
He basically said that he can't relate because he's not American.
First of all, I didn't know he was a British actor until they said it, and then I seen the interview. I was just like, this is a good movie, and he did a very good job, and that accent was good. Even when he was like yelling, like this was like very convincing. Like it was dope. I think he was just saying like it would have been even more convincing if you just got like a black guy from America that probably went through this exact situation,
exact situation of being hypnotized and put it
but just like I guess that could relate a whole lot more. But there is prejudice in the UK as well.
His answer was interesting because he says that all throughout his life he's felt like he's had to justify his struggle because people assume that he hasn't struggled because he in Britain they have there definitely is still racism, but it's less than in America. But he said that more so than he's gotten it from white people, he's gotten racism from black people for being dark skinned.
We are way more harder on ourselves than anything. Like it's you'll definitely see like black people in like in power, and they will like speak down on other black people, but then they'll have like a white wife or a spouse or something like
and then just keep pouring money into white organizations.
Kanye West said it best. He was like, when you get on, you leave for a white girl.
Yeah. And another brilliant thing that Kanye said is that, you crack dealer by Jordan's crackhead by crack, but the white man get paid off all of that.
Yep.
It's all a ploy by corporations. And I truly do think to a certain extent that rap music is controlled by corporate interest along the lines of 13th to promote illegal activities, to promote less than reputable role models for young African Americans.
It's Cole had a line, I can't remember right now, so I'm not going to sit here and take a minute to think of it, but it's just funny that like why every rich black guy got to be famous, why every broke black dude got to be brainless. That's a stereotype driven by people that's in aerial heights, like.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a thing. Like you don't like to think about it because it's like, nah, I don't believe it. But then you just look around and like it's the truth.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Tanner? Do you remember?
Actually, no. No, because it was so long ago. It was just you were talking about the Black Israelites versus KKK. But the Black Israelites haven't really infiltrated our government and don't hold.
Nah, they don't. But that's the only thing I could compare it to as far as like just hatred for the others. Like they cannot stand like white devil this evil. The the most ridiculous thing I've heard is that I believe according to their interpretation of Islam, white people are a creation of the evil Dr. Yaqub.
Dr. Yaku?
Yes.
Haku.
Yaku.
The evil doctor.
Yaku.
So there's a Dr. Yaku who's like a creator figure in...
He created white people.
Huh. That's interesting. Yeah, I never heard of that before.
He didn't do a good job on this one.
And apparently this is where white people came from. Y'all are creation, and y'all are not natural. Another thing I heard is like broccoli is like a man-made thing, and it's poisonous.
From the Black Israelites?
No, I don't know if this a video was a guy just talking. He's like a doctor, but like I don't know if he's an Israelite. But that's another thing I've heard.
What?
Yeah, it's something like
white
Jamaican
guys, broccoli, or going to bed early.
Yeah, it's
He's
just
a
ridiculous.
child.
It's a. I think I heard something like Jamaican culture, or just like another thing where like ridiculous, where they say like fluoride makes you homosexual. So like keep that. Just
Candy
ridiculous, just crazy stuff. So this is on both sides, man. It's just more socially acceptable. It's just that white guilt coming out, which is like that's funny. Like
I mean, it's there's some, maybe it was a Chappelle skit or something like that, where it's just like, you know, black people saying all kinds of heinous stuff about white guys, and we're just sitting over here laughing like sheepishly, like, oh yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
But I mean, you know, truthfully, I really do believe that at least for the past 5,000 years or so, pretty much, or a majority of the oppression and of the wealth inequality and everything can be traced directly to white people. I know that there are African dictators who have done the same things and things like that, but I think that white people, moreover, I hope we can all agree, have been the oppressor for way too long. And finally, I think with social media and with things like that, we're starting to see that there's no reason why it should be the case.
We need a new oppressor is what I'm getting from what
No. I mean, it'll come up, but like we don't need one. But
I would prefer no oppressor.
Yeah, it's a joke I've been trying to work out. It's on like black and white people who are meant for each other. Like, okay, when anybody says like I like it, it's a relationship where white people were like, hey, I got this really great thing I want to do, and black people are like, nah, like it's not a good
checks
idea.
And balances.
Nah, it's not.
That's a new representation of yin and yang.
Yes,
nice.
there you go. Yep.
Cool. Well, I think we managed to broach the subject without getting too
solved it. Yeah.
Too deep or anything.
No, we didn't. Nah, racism's not. It's not going anywhere.
Oh.
Racism's not going anywhere. I'll be the first to say that.
Solve racism is a big old comet or a volcano erupting or something like that.
Yeah. I've heard.
That sounds nice.
Or,
New flag.
My favorite Fox News tweet ever, and this was from like a couple years ago. I just remembered because it sticks out in my mind. They said like it was Martin Luther King Day, and they're like, you know, on this day we honor Martin Luther King for his role in ending racism.
Oh,
wow.
Ha. He did play a role, but it hasn't happened yet.
He played a role in ending like
Jim Crow laws.
Well, yeah, discrimination instituted in our government. Okay, ending it publicly. Obviously, it still happens, but in terms of like bathrooms and such.
Yeah. But I'm sure we'll get into these topics again later. There's plenty of stuff we can talk about with MLK and all the crazy stuff surrounding the FBI and how more than likely he was killed by a government agency.
Of course, they had to take him out.
Yeah, it's creepy stuff. Did you ever see the letter that
CIA gives money to the Luther King family every year?
Wow, that's that white guilt.
Hush money.
Yeah.
I think what is public is the CIA knew about it. They're not taking responsibility, but they're they knew it was going to happen, but they didn't do anything.
Well,
about
J. Edgar Hoover sent him a letter saying, "We know about all your infidelities. We have pictures. We have
they
tapes."
hated him. Oh yeah.
So, but
Coretta Scott, I think they brought it to her, and she was just like, "It's this is bigger than me and my marriage."
They pretty much told J. Edgar Hoover signed this letter, and it pretty much told him either stop what you're doing or you're going to be suicided.
Suicided?
Yeah, pretty much in those words.
I didn't say killed.
Yeah,
I didn't say killed.
They pretty much told him an unfortunate accident would happen to him if he didn't stop, if he didn't ramp
be
down.
ashamed something would happen to you.
Exactly, yeah. J. Edgar Hoover.
Wow.
Yeah. Who himself was gay. Who, never
he
came
wore
out.
dresses.
Yeah, and you would think that he would have sympathy for oppressed people, and
nope.
Who knows if he did? Maybe it was just bureaucracy, but whatever.
Well, he was one of those dudes that was so anti-gay, he was actually gay. He hated himself.
Yeah.
He took it out on other people.
Yeah, it's a lot of times you'll see big anti-gay Christian people are the ones who get caught, soliciting
the Catholic
sex
Church.
Oh God, yeah, that's a whole different can of worms. So let's get into Drew's segment.
Speaking of the Catholic Church, we're talking about parties. I like to talk about
let's just let it sink
first time. I could do that all day. But I was thinking we'd go around the horn here, and we talk about parties and social events that we used to go to or currently go to. But I like to hear about.
Well, it's got to be the first time.
I like to hear about first times. I like to hear about like when it like clicked for you. Like when was like the first time you and your friend shared a 40 in the woods. Well, like
I could tell you about the first high school party I went to. Yeah. It was my freshman year, and I felt so cool because I got invited to a high school party, and it was a good friend of mine. Her name was May, and she invited me over to her house, and she had an older sister, so there were tons of people there. I didn't expect it to be anything like that.
They bought everything. The older siblings.
Yeah. Well, and all I drank was Mike's Hard Lemonade.
It is a smooth.
Or no,
taste.
It wasn't even Mike's. It was Smirnoff.
Oh my gosh!
I know. But I was like, I started sneaking alcohol at a very young age, so I was more accustomed to drinking than most of the high school students there. So I remember I chugged 3 Smirnoff Ices in a row to try to impress this girl. So I got really drunk really early on in the party, and for most of the party I was either jumping or laying on the trampoline. Some people showed up from a rival high school. A little fight broke out, but then everyone like bonded over it, and so then we were all just intermingling because I remember they were saying like, man, we got some people from Maiden coming over here because like one person who was at the party invited them.
And the one guy was like, Maiden?
Yeah, exactly.
No, if a Maiden's coming in here.
Man, they think Maiden's coming over here, man. It's a Newton Conover party.
We beat them in lacrosse.
Oh,
they can't come over here.
Wow.
We weren't rich enough for lacrosse. But it was a fun party, and I think that I had someone either drop me off or maybe my mom came and picked me up that night. But either way, I made it back home. I didn't crash over there.
Oh, that's great.
But I did not.
Wait, you're saying your mom might have picked you up from the party?
I think so, yeah.
That's a cool mom. I would have never.
I think it was actually a friend of mine's mom because I was too nervous about calling my mom.
And
my mom
I would never.
My
mom always had a rule like, hey, listen, if you ever feel tipsy or you're a little too buzzed or whatever, don't get in anyone's car. Call us. We're not gonna get mad.
Yeah.
We're not gonna do anything. But I never called her. I was like, I'd rather die than tell my mom that I'm drunk at my friend's house.
I mean, once it got later, freshman year was too early for me to admit to my mom. But by like junior, senior year, she wised up and knew what was going on. But I don't think that I ever called her to pick me up or anything like that. But someone else. What's first party?
First party that I remember is my birthday party from. I was still in elementary school, like 3rd, 4th grade.
And kids from Maiden High were coming over.
Yep. And I didn't get out of the house a whole lot. And my mom, well, the way that I didn't talk to a whole lot of kids either. I was very introverted when I was younger. And the way that everybody got invited to my party is that we all had like mailboxes in the.
Oh, you little cubbies?
Yeah, the little cubbies where you get your like paperwork and whatever, and then not the actual cubbies where you like put your book bag or anything, but like little ones where you like get your paperwork and take home.
Nice.
And my mom came in and put invitations in all of them because I had no friends. And out of the like 28 people in the class, 4 showed up.
All right.
It was me and 4 people, and it was looking back on it, it's very sad.
Well, those other 24 kids, I just want to say real quick, are I can't. I was going to say a swear dare, but I can't. I can't. Well, they're real meanie poop heads.
They are. I agree.
And the fact, I mean, I didn't love everyone in my elementary school class, but if I got invited to a party, I'd be like,
what?
Yes, I'm there.
Yes.
I am there at every single kid's party. I am going bowling. I'm going trampolining. I will go to the park and throw a ball around if it means free cake. Like, I'll do whatever. I mean, I'll do whatever for free cake.
Is it still?
What?
Still current day?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good to know.
I'll do anything. So I forgot what my question. Oh, it was those kids are mean, and you can continue. So what was? Did you guys like?
There's just a bounce house and some cake at my grandparents' house, and
bounce house at your personal birthday party.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
God, those other kids missed out.
Yeah, they did.
It was the trade-off. It's like, do I go to the weird kid's birthday party? Yeah, but it could be cool.
That would have been a great. Did you get to Did it hang around for a while, or did you just get it for the day?
Just for the day.
Oh, that would have been cool if you had it for the whole weekend.
Yeah, I was very fat growing up, so I probably wouldn't have bounced it very much. Getting tired and sweaty.
Did you ever go to those places that are like trampoline or like bounce houses?
Like Defy Gravity?
Defying Gravity.
My 21st birthday is when I went to my first strip club.
Oh,
in Atlanta.
Nice. In Atlanta? That's the place to do it.
Yeah.
Was it King of Diamonds, was it?
Nah.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was a place called Pinups, And I should have paid attention because the guy that orchestrated it at my job at the time, he was more excited to go than I was. And it was on a Sunday, but it was pretty wild. Like I literally
during the day or at night?
No, it was at night.
Okay.
Like I remember, like my jaw it didn't drop, but like it was kind of like, yo, this is crazy.
So in Atlanta, do they do like full nude?
Full, like it was a girl walking around with just her top on and just hit like this was
just the top on.
Yes,
Huh.
I was
That's
like, this
weird,
is. I'm like, wow, like where am I? I was like, this is a rap video. This is so much fun, but. It was dope. I didn't know. Actually, I got sunned by a stripper.
Oh,
With
no.
this other guy there. I was like, yo, go get her. Like I'm gonna get my money back. He's like, all right. And so he gave him the whole deal. Was like, yo, it's my man's birthday. Like, give him a dance. Like, he just turned 21. She was like, he ain't nothing but a baby. And then just walked away. I was like, what?
You got denied.
I waited all this time and like I'm still just getting sunned by people and whatnot. But
did you get a bunch of drinks bought for you and stuff?
Not really. Everybody was broke. They brought me they got me a bed. I was just fine to be there. Like they brought me a dance, and then I ended up getting to dance with somebody, and I wasn't paying attention, but they were playing the songs like fast.
Yeah.
Oh, they
super fast.
They play them faster than
Fast, like BPM was like just ridiculous.
On what is it, Lip Sync Battle? They always speed up the songs a little bit to make it work.
Wow, like Travis Porter sounded like Chipmunks. And then, yeah. But it's just dancing. Like this girl was just dancing, and like I'm just like, yo, this is crazy. Like I'm throwing money up, whatnot. Should have been told her to stop.
Do you remember how much cash you went with?
I maybe had like $60, $80 in my pocket, and that was it. But it was like $5 dances. But it's like when the song is over, that's another $5. I'm not keeping up. But she is. And she just leans over. She's like, all right, that's 40. Like, somebody could have just stopped the record right there. I got nervous. Like, I thought I was about to get taken out back. And, like, my legs broken or something. All over $40. I just got nervous. I called, like, everybody was way over. I'm like, yo, I need, like, $20 more. Like I'm short. They came up with, like, 15 more. And she was like, all right, whatever. And, like, she just walked away. Yeah. Yep.
So I guess the other chick made a good call by ignoring you.
She did. She looked out. That's the homie for life.
They probably have like sort of unspoken rules. Like if it's your birthday and you're a certain age, they probably don't expect you to be able to pay for much, or they probably think that you're gonna expect a free.
Oh, maybe that's the one stripper that has morals or something. Like maybe.
Yeah, maybe you were her actual son's age.
Maybe she has a son that just turned 21 that day.
Oh man. Tanner, what about you? What's your first party?
Well, actually, I was just thinking of my first frat party. Frat count.
Fun stuff.
Well, see,
Tanner, were you in a frat?
No. God, no. I was, however, invited. I've been to 2 frat parties in my life. I was invited to one when I first got to college, and I remember getting there, and I even wore like a button-down shirt. You guys know I basically wear T-shirts all the time. This one had buttons, so I'm dressing fancy.
Tanner was looking to go.
Yeah.
And paid the $5 at the door for the red cup, and basically, I just remember that party was well run compared to the second one I went to. You got your drinks easily. There's a lot of pissing room outside, which was very, very important. I remember it rained too, so there were like puddles everywhere. So I was just pissing into every puddle.
Just blending it in with the rain.
That's disgusting.
And there was like a shed, because it was like some house with like a big yard and a shed. And in the shed, beer pong was going on. I was just hanging out behind the table, constantly catching the balls.
I thought you were hanging out behind the shed.
I was just constantly catching the ping pong balls as they miss. Nice. And that way I was I was getting in people's heads that I existed, so that I would be invited to play. And immediately.
That's smart. Get in their face.
Oh, yeah.
Show them who's who.
And, it was actually kind of cool, though. And then I remember not a lot after that, but I do remember getting home safe and sound in a cab.
Did you wake up in a pee puddle?
No, thankfully. Although I think
it's a normal puddle.
The rest of me was all just covered in urine. Like, there was a lot of urine going around that party. I don't know if it was a frat party in retrospect.
The keg was actually not even beer; it's just all urine.
Yeah.
I'm not used to that kind of taste from crappy beer.
And Drew, you want to round it out? I think we're gonna have to skip games today. We're already running a little long.
Okay.
All right.
Sure. Yeah, my first time. I don't know, like. For the beginning of high school, I never went. I didn't get invited, but I never went to like any big parties. But every weekend, I used to hang out with some real degenerates in high school. It was like me and all like the kids who like sold pot and everything, and it was awesome because like when you hung out with them, like it was free, like you just like, hey, Cullen, what's up? I probably shouldn't have said his name. Just made a fake name. I was in a shitty band. I'm sorry.
Two swear names.
Goodness. Same word. Does it count if it's the same word?
Yes,
we forgot to organize that last break.
You guys can just beat me up after
Cool.
the show.
We'll jump you in.
Yeah.
That was the plan to begin with.
But I was in a really bad like high school band, and I played the drums, and like our band practice was just like my one friend would like bring over like edibles, then we'd eat them, and then we'd practice for like 45 minutes before they kicked in, and that was it. Like that was what we did, and like we just kept doing that. But we knew this one girl who's. Did you guys know like people's parents who like didn't care about stuff like alcohol or that's always kind of weird, right?
Is it not? It's always like either extreme wealth or extreme poverty.
Yes. It's one or the other. There's one friend I knew who was like in the middle, and their parents were like, just do it on the house, we don't care. Like they'd come in. The weirdest one time I was at a party and like at like this guy's like barn, like we were all like passing around a blunt, and like his dad came in. We're like, oh shit, and then like, oh my goodness,
wow.
I'm sorry.
It's almost like you're not a good storyteller and you need those things as a crutch.
Oh man. Okay.
Is that too real? Is that too real? I'm sorry.
Just take it slow, buddy.
So he came in and we're all like freaking out. We're like hiding stuff. He goes, "Nah, man, pass it to me."
Oh,
and
wow.
then we're all like, "Okay." And I was like, "You drove me to baseball once."
When I was 5 years old.
Yeah, exactly. And but anyway, we this one girl's like garage we would go to every week, and it was like we'd get Vlad. And like,
is that alcohol?
Vlad? Oh yeah, it's like
it tastes.
It tastes like rubbing alcohol.
Oh, so you're saying it's worse than Aristocrat?
Oh, it's horrible. Oh. It's definitely the worst thing on the. It's almost poison.
I'm guessing it's vodka.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's the worst tasting thing. But we just had like we get like one a week and like
a half gallon for like $8.
Yeah, exactly. And then like one of our friends made moonshine, which was super shady.
Yeah,
I had
a high schooler making moonshine.
High schooler, I trust. If someone else made it, I'd trust it. But...
No, it was in his closet. He made it. Probably shouldn't have bought as much as I did. Could have went blind, but gallons at a time. They sold it one time. Yeah.
Jesus.
How much did it cost?
Really cheap. Great deal. I forget how much, but I remember when he told me, I was like, whoa, okay.
So,
I'll get another.
Do you know he actually made it, or was he just pouring grain alcohol into his still?
I mean, he showed me his thing, and it was just 2 buckets he cleaned out. I was like, all right.
That's actually a pretty good idea. Make a still, and then just buy grain alcohol and upsell it.
If that's what he did, then yeah.
It's like if you bought what could have been poisoned, but because
it
was cheap, you're like, great deal.
That's the thing he told me. He was like, I had a lot of it like last night, and like I can see. So I'm like, okay, like I'll trust you, friend. I kind of know. I guess that's my. So anyway, with the garage, one time, we heard we like went there every week, and we thought it was like kind of safe because we were just in this one garage. One time we heard a siren, and there was only 2 entrances. There was in the front, there was the actual garage, and it would lift up, and then there was like a door in the back, and we kind of parked like at this parking lot like a block away. And like we heard a siren like pull, and like my one friend was like, "Oh no, that's part of like the song we were listening to."
Oh yeah.
And then someone pressed like the garage door opener, and it opened, and there was the cop car. And then me and my friend just real quick just went out the back door and just left.
What?
Yeah,
Why were the cops calling?
They, I guess noise. I mean, she had neighbors, which is weird, and I think she got in trouble, but like not really.
Yeah.
I guess that's the weird thing that happens. Like they get in trouble, but then they don't because their parents know I don't know. It's something weird. Nothing really happened after
I'm guessing she was on the wealthier end of the scale.
I'm guessing she was white.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, that's the end of that story.
Cool. Well, good deal.
That one story.
My bad.
Next week we'll cover some more first timers.
Can we talk more about Becca next week?
Becca?
I assume her name's Becca. She sounds like a Becca.
Paige DiDomenico.
Oh, yeah.
Again, could have used the fake name.
What was her name?
Yeah, DiDomenico.
Yeah.
No,
Paige.
First name?
Paige.
Paige.
I'm looking up the
Paige
Facebook right now.
Yeah, do it.
We'll figure it out.
P-A-I-G-E.
Me and my never mind. I'll say that off air.
Yeah. Gave out the last name and everything. But so that was our episode for today, guys. March 23rd. This is Prime Nation Radio. You can find us across all social media platforms, Prime Nation Live. And I'm Sydney Roberts. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at SydneyRoberts18.
I'm Tyler Wood. You can find me on Twitter at Tyler W. Wood and on Instagram at Styler Wood.
I'm Drew Scheid. You can find me on Twitter at Drew Scheid.
I'm Gerard Fortune. You can catch me on Instagram and Twitter at AROD, EY_ROD.
I'm Tanner Methvin. You can catch me on Twitter at Tanner Methvin.
Perfect. All right, guys. Well, hopefully you'll join us tomorrow for our last show of the week. We appreciate you guys tuning in today and hope you enjoyed it.
I'll be right
Sorry,
back.
second adjectives.
Sorry. Nice. Yeah, I had fun with that show. It was good.
Yeah.
Let's do this.